Hello everyone, this is Orlando with a quick TSS iPad update. It's really the first one of its kind, so I'm pretty stoked about this. So anyway, let's get this started. Thank you for joining in. So of course, I'm Orlando Cantu. I'm your MDM support specialist. You can find me on Twitter at MDM_Orlando. My extension is 78936. And you can always find me in Google Hangouts. I'm always available. If I'm not, I will get to you as soon as I can, I promise. So, video outline. We're going to be covering all of these issues here. I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as possible, just so that you could go back to your busy day. But first and foremost, we'll be talking about this restore issue that we've been having. Previously purchased applications, clear passcode commands, activation locks versus passcode locks and the difference between the two. We're going to be going over the app purchasing process, and we'll be talking about an iPad exit procedure for your staff. So let's get started. Restore issue. So, are you receiving an error trying to restore an iPad? I know this is an issue that's been going on for a few weeks already. There are a few TSS that have already fixed this issue. They've either reached out to me, they've reached out to client admin, they've put in a work order. We were able to fix this for them. This is an issue that's going on with Apple, and what we need to do now is make sure that we're all updating all of our MacBooks, and since we're moving to a brand new iOS, we have to agree to those terms and conditions before we could start restoring again with an AC2. So this is the error that everyone's receiving. I'm not going to read it out because it's a bunch of hoopla, but it does end in a 10. So if you receive this error ending in this number 10, you could go ahead and quit AC2 completely. And what you're going to do is open up iTunes, right? So once you open up iTunes, you're going to want to plug in your device. If it's already disabled, you can go ahead and just plug it in. Once you plug it into iTunes, it's going to ask you if you want to update your device or restore your device. What we're going to want to do here is click on Update. What this does is it downloads the software necessary to update the device, right? So in order for us to continue using this new iOS, we have to make sure that we agree to these new terms and conditions that iOS 13 or iPadOS, whatever it's called, we have to agree to those new terms and conditions before we can move forward, right? So it kind of makes sense, and we have this issue every year. We just tend to forget about it. It is usually whenever we're moving to the next number iOS. So we had this issue whenever we moved from 11 to 12, and now we're having this issue again from 12 to 13. So if you need help with this, like I said, contact me, put in a work order, and we'll get this fixed for you. Alrighty? Previously purchased apps. So this is kind of a fun one. Have you put in a work order only to find out your campus already has licenses to this requested app? Obviously she's had this problem, right? So what we're going to do here is you want to figure out if you've purchased this app before, but since you don't have access to the VPP store or apps and books, a good way to do this is to log into your Jamf. So I'm going to log in right here. And currently I'm at Mary Hall, right? So if I go to my gear at the top right corner, click on that, and I click on VPP accounts, and then I click on Mary Hall, MDM.Hall. This is usually where we upload our new tokens, right? Well, if we go to the next tab over under content, it's going to list out every single application that this campus has purchased in the past. So regardless if she's scoping these apps or not, they're going to show up here, and they're going to show with the total amount of licenses you purchased, how many are in use, and reported. So, so like currently, there's 530 licenses of Google Earth in use. There's 12, and so it goes on and on. This will be the same thing down the line. So of course there's a lot of applications that she's no longer scoping at this campus, and that could be for any reason. That could be for whenever we unscoped and deleted a lot of instances last year at the end of the year, or if it's just an app that is no longer supported by the district, right? So that's just a quick fun way of figuring out if you purchased an application that you're maybe wanting to put on your devices again. Number 3, clear passcode commands. So you might remember we used to be able to use our rescue kits to unlock our devices if they're locked with the passcode lock, right? All you had to do was contact the help desk, tell them that you have a device that has a passcode lock. From there, they send a clear passcode command. Once it's sent to you, you hook up the device to the rescue kit. Once that's all connected, it should automatically undo the passcode. You push the home button and it goes to the home screen. From then on, the teacher or staff member has 1 hour to put in a new password. Otherwise, the iPad becomes disabled again. So this is working again. There was, I believe it was iOS 10.3.1 where it didn't allow us to use this clear passcode command. So from then on, we just started restoring, telling TSS that, clear passcode command isn't working. The only thing you can do now is just to restore the device. So that's what y'all been doing ever since, is if a device becomes locked and a teacher comes up to you and says that, they're locked out, our only solution from then on was to restore it. And so they've seemed to fix this issue with this, I believe it was iOS 12 actually. So let's start contacting help desk or calling help desk so that you can get these iPads back out to your staff members a lot faster than just restoring. All right. So activation locks versus passcode locks. So we all know what activation locks are. An activation lock is whenever you have a certain someone who has left the district or is no longer at our campus, and you've restored the device and you're going through the setup process, and bam, you're stuck because it's asking you to sign into an iTunes account or an iCloud account. And you can't go any further because this device is locked. This device is under someone else's account. So the only way you could actually go further is if you figure out that password, or you use the activation lock bypass code, or you contact me and we troubleshoot it out. If the bypass code doesn't work, if contacting me doesn't help, then we both know that that's whenever you put in a work order, correct? So whenever a iPad is just as a passcode lock, we know that all we need to do is either restore it, or now we could call help desk and have them send that command so that we could unlock those devices. And so just know the difference between the two and we should be okay. So moving forward, app purchasing process. So the only thing I'm going to go over here is the website, which is tiny.cc/NISD apps. If you don't know, please write this down, bookmark it, please. This link will take you to the Northside student iPad app review list, right? So number one, review the app catalog to determine the status of the preferred app, right? So this is your list of all approved apps. It's available to you, to staff. They just need to know that link. And if you don't want to scroll through this long list, just remember you could use Control F and find out on whether or not Google Earth is approved. Yes, it is. So, moving on, if the app is pending, it's going to show up here. If the app is not approved, it's going to show up here. There it is. If your application does not show up on this list, whether it's not approved, pending, or approved, you're going to want to have your staff member or you fill out this app request. It's just a Google form. So, you enter your campus, the app name, campus app name, the developer name, and whether the app is free or paid. So, once you determine whether the application is approved, then what you're going to want to do, and I'm going to open up our handy dandy app request workflow document. So regardless if you're a teacher or TSS, you go to that app list, which is located at the bottom here, tiny.cc/NISD apps. And so if the application is approved, a work order is required, and a courtesy email to me also helps because I'm able to see that there's a work order in heat for me, and I need to go in there and fulfill it before it gets too late. After that, your licenses get purchased. You get notified that your licenses are available to be scoped, and then you complete the scope within Jamf. Okay? If the app is not listed, you fill out the request form like we talked about. The requester is contacted, and you are told whether or not the app is approved or not approved. If it's not approved, we're really sorry. And of course, if the app is not approved once you go onto the app list, we're sorry about that as well. Maybe in the future it might be available. Who knows? Maybe the developer will decide to update it and everything will be hunky-dory. So remember, if it's not on the list, fill out the form. Any of the lists. Okay, so our next slide. iPad exit procedure for staff. So there have been a lot of work orders for activation locks coming through, and it's hard to determine when the activation locks will be lifted whenever we send them to Apple, especially right now whenever Apple is behind and they're taking an extra long time to lift all of these activation locks that they've been receiving. So in order to help our staff out, it's better to have a procedure in place so that we could avoid this as much as possible, right? And so a good thing to have is a nice exit procedure for your staff, whether it's a little sheet of paper or if it's a full document to where they could be handed that document whenever they're leaving or whenever they're retiring, and it shows them a short guide on how they should sign out of their iCloud account before they turn in their iPad to whomever, whether it's you or if it's the bookkeeper or if it's the principal secretary. Regardless if you're there or not, we really want these staff members to sign out of their accounts before they leave. And so just having that procedure available, even if you copy word for word one of our click sheets, that's great. We just want you to have something available to your staff and for yourself, so that you can give to these staff members and retirees. And we know that stuff happens, and staff members leave without any notice, or they don't tell you that they're leaving and it just happens. That's completely understandable. We just want you to know that we want to prevent activation locks as much as we can, okay? So if you could just help us out in that aspect, that'll be great. So thank you guys. This has been my first TSS iPad update. I hope you're not asleep. I hope that you have a great day. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm available to you. I'm here to help you. Anyway, take care, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon. If you have any questions, like I said, call me. Bye-bye.